she said. Hey YouTube! Aaron and Tammy here.
This is Aaron and my beautiful wife Tammy.
Oh, thank you.
You jumped the gun.
I did jump the gun.
We are a sold out marriage, and we're coming to you from the middle of Salt Lake City Valley, and our sponsors are God. So
That's true.
The title of our video today, actually we didn't have a title for the video today, but we could just say it's God's principles are universal.
There we go. I like it. Yeah, that's good.
It's actually Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, and of course, a great day at church. We actually visited some friends' church because there was a great speaker that we wanted to see today.
Yeah.
And that speaker's name is Pastor Jurgen.
Yep, from C3 San Diego.
From San Diego, yep. And I guess really, I know there's just every week a message will hit you, but this one really just struck us enough that I just felt like we wanted to, I guess I drove this one, we wanted to really make a video about it, how it impacted us in a couple different ways. One on a personal level, and another just in encouraging marriages. Yeah,
that's good. I know that the basics of the message, so that we can give you some context for our video, is Pastor Jurgen talked about power in prosperity, or power with prosperity, and being able to, accept it. I can't remember the second. There was like 2 points or 3 points that he made, but that you have the power for prosperity. And Aaron, when we were both really struck by it for probably financial intimacy, but in general, just what power we have that God's given us, because He wants us to be successful as we step into His will, and we step into what we know we've been called to do, that He will provide for us. And so, if you feel like listening, honestly, if you want to go and listen to that, because we're not Pastor Jurgen, we're not going to preach it. We couldn't even do justice.
We couldn't do justice to the message.
So go check out, if you Google or go on Facebook to C3 San Diego, or actually C3 Salt Lake. He was here. Yeah. C3 Salt Lake, they record it. So go and listen to Pastor Jurgen's message. It was amazing. But what we discovered is Aaron really drove this, because he mentioned how in the principles and how much it impacted us, how really God's principles are universal. And so you want to talk a little bit about why you came up with that, and what?
Well, first of all, I guess to get the personal part out of the way, we've always given, but the short of it is that the message today really inspired us to want to continue to increase our giving.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why? Because we want to be successful. We want to have plenty. It doesn't make sense that you give away to get more from where? Well, God provides.
Yeah.
And when you give out of abundance,
like your cup overflows.
Your cup overflows.
Yeah.
But if you give out of your lack, or what you perceive as lack, you'll a lot of times get even more.
Yeah.
And that just comes down to the principle that when we are faithful, no matter what the circumstances are, God will provide. God will honor those the acts. God isn't respecting us just because we're great Christians and we read the Bible every day, but God does respect the act of faith, because that's what He asks of us, is to live through faith. And so I just was inspired to increase our giving, continue to increase our giving, because we want to have enough for not just ourselves, but to bless our kids, bless our friends, bless our neighbors,
bless other
our
marriages,
family, and bless you guys.
Yeah.
On that note, we have been blessed to be able to do these videos. We've both been in the spot of having 9-to-5 jobs. And now we're in a place where we both work from home.
Yeah, God brought us into a new season, and if you think about it, the timing of the new season that we were brought into really came out of, and Pastor Jurgen touched on this, was, you have these moments in your life where you lose a job or something drastically changes, and the immediate response is, why, God? And, oh, this is terrible, and he's not going to provide. And I just love that he reminded us that he is the provider, and that it's a new season coming in, and we just need to trust in faith. And that's what happened to us. And at the time that it happened, we were coming into a new season, and we just didn't know it.
Yeah.
But it blessed our ministry.
Yes, and so I lost my train of thought. So we're in this place where we can do more with this ministry, and we've made at least as much or more than we've made in the past. And so we can get by. We can do all the things that we need to do on a day-to-day basis, but we can also spend time to work on this ministry and to bless you guys. But I guess the basis of the message that really kind of rings to the universal part of why God's principles are universal is the concept of the poverty mindset and the prosperity mindset, where if you're thinking and constantly concerned about money and how much you have and where it's going to come from and where it's going and how much you have to spend, which honestly that's the foundation of my mindset. And but if you're coming from that mindset, then the worry, it actually becomes kind of self-fulfilling. Where if we are just stepping out in faith and listening, not just on our own, but listening to what God wants us to do with our time, with our energy, and with our money, then it's another way of looking at it. It creates a space for then God to be able to fill in with what He wants for your life.
Yeah, good.
Taking out money, leaving a hole in your bank account, in your budget, allows God to then come in and fill it with Himself. The same thing with marriage. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you don't have enough energy or time to do everything in the house or to do what your spouse needs you to do, and you start getting into the space of being selfish,
Offended.
Yeah, and offended. Well, and it all feeds on itself. Like if you if you become really concerned about really yourself, then offense really
has an opportunity,
rears its head really easily and often. Where if you think of marriage and your time and what you personally want, I mean, I guess that mindset is kind of the poverty mindset.
Yeah.
Where if we're believing that, we have enough time, we're successful, we can take care of all the things we want to do, and we're going to just leave it in God's hands and not be so concerned about what I want, then that's more of a prosperity mindset. And when we come together and decide, we're going to take time out and go connect together, that leaves a space for God to then come in and fill with His presence and the energy, the ideas, the motivation, the inspiration to do all the things that you want to do for your marriage to make it better.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think one thing that is interesting too is that we all know that God's will for a marriage is to be amazing. Like, God wants our marriages to be healthy and strong and incredible and useful, not just for our own gain, but useful for those around us. So we know that we're in God's will, in that we're making our marriage a priority, and that we're wanting to constantly grow and constantly get better. That is in itself God's will. So we're creating a space by following that will, because what we're doing is saying, you know what, God, we know that we're stepping into your will. in our marriage. So we're going to trust you that you are going to provide. We are going to prosper in this marriage ministry. We're going to prosper in our marriage because we know that God obviously wants that for us, and so we can trust him with it. And I really think that is important when we're talking about the prosperity mindset versus the poverty mindset. Like Aaron was saying, the poverty mindset is, well, this is just how our marriage is. My husband's never going to change. I'm never going to change. This is just how it is. And instead of stepping into a space of the prosperity mindset and knowing that you can grow, you can become amazing together, and your cup will overflow. So not only will mine and Aaron, our cup is full in our marriage, but now we're able to overflow that in affecting other marriages too.
Yeah. Well, and as we wrap this up, I just wanted to, we're going to walk as we
Okay,
wrap. Is that
walk
okay?
and talk.
So on the note of useful, I mean, we found our usefulness with our marriage.
Yeah.
And not everybody has to do the same thing. Not everybody has to come up with a marriage ministry to make their marriage useful. But I just from personal experience and knowing a lot of having friends that have a secular marriage, and I mean, we don't talk about it unless we're in crisis mode. But a lot of marriages, I can see that they're in a malaise, and it's because they haven't found a use for their time, for their relationship, for what they have to offer the world. I mean, there's a lot of great things that you all out there have to offer, and if you work on your marriage and your relationship, marriage really is a powerful thing. It is really a foundation for society, and I don't want to get too big because then it'll be like a 30-minute video. But getting out of the way.
Oh, getting out of the way. We're walking and talking. We do that sometimes.
But we just want to encourage you to find that space, find that area where you can work on your relationship, your time together. And you know, it may not be now, but at some point when you get to that place where you feel comfortable in your relationship, or at least more comfortable, see what you can do with it. You know, what you can do out of the abundance that God puts into your relationship.
Yeah, that's good.
So on that note, as a preview to the very next video that we're going to do.
Oh, yeah. I want to talk about that a little bit. By the way, one of the ways that Aaron and I like to connect is walk and talks, and so that's why we're out in an area where there's people and we're walking and talking. But yeah, a preview for our next video.
Yeah, the next video is going to be about oral sex.
Yes, you heard him right. Oral sex.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, and I didn't want to do the video, but there it is.
You know what? One of the things that Aaron and I have learned over the years is to get more and more comfortable. I think the nurse in me feels pretty comfortable saying things, but we both have learned to talk about sex outside of our bedroom, so it's okay. We're going to talk about oral sex. It's going to be a great show, so check us out at A Sold Out Marriage.
Sold Out Marriage. On Instagram.
Facebook. Yep.
And then if
Email.
you like email,
Yep.
check out our book, The Beginning of a Journey to a Sold Out Marriage. I'm gonna get it right off the top of my head one of these days.
Yeah, soldoutmarriage@gmail.com if you want to email. And then also check out Podbean. It's a podcast app. I've started a podcast called The Unoffended Wife. So check that out too. And I guess that's it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, if you like these videos, go ahead and
Like
and
subscribe
subscribe. Like it, subscribe it, notify it. When we make new videos, then you will be known when we do.
Yeah.
Anyways, have a great week. See ya.
Bye.